So the next thing on our list is do unit tests. We have an application working now. If you follow these list of files, you also should follow, if it's not working yet, debugging, bringing the application up and running, and importing data. So I expect that you have an application up and running now, that you have imported data, and from that point on we can do unit tests. And what is relevant in unit tests? We do not test for, not this one, we do not test every method and property that is in the controller and that is in the server, etc. But what we do test is this point here within that cloud, and we're talking to from client to server, and if we want to test that everything is working on the server, we should test these routes, because a route is the starting point, and from there on, if I do a create, I should be able to create a record, and I can do that if I pass that request. So that's what I will do in the unit test. I will not test separate modules, separate functions, separate statuses, separate properties, but what I will do is test the API. So I will go to tests, and in tests I have unit tests, and within unit tests is a test.js, and here are a lot to do's. So let's do something then. So first we load our configuration. That's the same again. We start with development and we copy the server config from from the file that's defined here. So we know that we test exactly the same configuration as what we want to, and we have a local configuration. Where's that? We need that as well, so let's copy that in here. Oh, that's here, our config.js. Well, we come to that. And then we define the variables. What variables do we have here? We have two variables. That's should, that's our assertion library, and we will also use supertest, and supertest enables us to do HTTP requests. The next thing we do is we will define a test set. And a test set is something like this. It starts with a describe, and within describe I will have the to-dos. So describe is just a collection of tests with a name of it, an anonymous function, and within that anonymous functions are the actual tests. And let's copy a test. So we have to do some preparation with it as well. So request, this will contain our HTTP request, our server variable, as you want to. We want to keep the, if we create a book, then we will delete it later, so it would be convenient to have a temporary book ID, and we also need a temporary response. We have a setup that starts with before and does nothing else, then continue. And now we have the first test to do, create. So let's create. It creates a book, and this is nested, as you can see. So describe can be nested, and it is the actual test. I can have as many tests as I want, and these are the assertions. So it should have meta property, and it should be exactly as create, and there should be no error, so error should be null. HTTP status should be 200. I can check that with supertest, but also with shoot, and the result type should be application JSON, and it should be a UTF-8, and from here I want to have the ID of that newly created document so I can retrieve it later, update it, etc. Next is retrieve all books. So I retrieve all books, it should get all books. So get books, this is the request I'm sending. I expect a 200 in return. These are assertions from supertest. Then, if it's done, then I will have some other tests, and these are the shoot tests. I parse it, and that value, that JSON value, should have a meta and well, whatever is in there. Same for update, and for here I need that ID. So this is the, well, this is the name of the test, and this is the actual URL, and that will go with temporary book ID, and that should also have no errors, etc. Updating a book. And if I update a book, then I need a doc. This is what I sent as body. Oops. This is what I sent as a, yeah. This is what I sent as a body. This object. It's a doc, a doc, and it's the title is good book and author is better book, and well, whatever. But, and I can check for those values if that has been done properly. So I can add a new assertion, is author better book, and if then that passes that test. Okay, now I will delete the newly created book. So I pass a del, and del, that's just an abbreviation for delete within supertest. And that will have a content type, application JSON, should be a UTF-8, etc. And now the book is deleted because we did use 10 book ID. And just to make sure, if I retrieve all books, then that number collection is restored. That's what I used it here. So the 10 book response is if I do retrieve all books, then I retrieve the original collection, and that original collection should be exactly the same as after I have retrieved that before. So let's check that it works. And for this I do need 2 shells. One is a shell that is running the server. So I need for this test a running server. I do not need it for the static analyzer, but for the unit tests I do. I am in the unit test directory. First I have to install all the packages. What's in here? Oh, and I have to install Mocha if that's not installed. So sudo npm install -g Mocha, and that should be globally installed. So make sure that you have not only Node, that probably should be already there. The first step you do is install Mocha, and Mocha you install with sudo npm install -g Mocha, and then I can say npm test. I think so. Why do I think that? Because there are scripts, and one of the scripts is test, and test does do Mocha. So if I do Mocha, That's my test framework. And I probably will see something here as well, and nothing works. So why is that? Let's check that. Put that off. Don't know why is that in here. I'm not sure about this one. npm test. Explain. Of course it should work. One of the ways to make test work is do not test. It's not a good test. Okay, here we are. So 404 not found, and why is that? Why is it that it can't find that? What URL is it connecting to? Let's check this one, config test.json. Maybe I forgot here a few things. Nope, I didn't. That's okay. I'm not sure about this, but let's check this one. Not found. That's not right, so let's check this one. Then request. Console.log request. So now on line 16 I will get the request object. Let's see what's in there. Oh, I can see that here, so that's not right. We don't need to see that. Slash API. That as well. Delete books, null. Of course, the first one is null and the rest is null. Why is that error in here? Let's check with this one. Localhost 3000 API books. API books. So maybe this one is not in the right place. that was on the right place. Expected it's something like this. Local config hosts plus port. I think this as well. API path. Of course, local config API path. So that's okay. So that works. What did I had to do? What I had to do was make sure that API path is defined this way. This way. Yes, it's this way. So that's just a plain API, and from there we need not this one. This is okay. Let's check again. And probably the book is not deleted. Okay, 1 and 1. Oh, the test is probably not okay. So let's make the test okay. Is the book deleted? You can check that, of course. Robo Mongo. And then this should work as well. So let's make our test right. One thing at a time. And I should test for some result value because I'm pretty sure it is deleted, but it's checking for some other value. So expect OK and N1 to be 1. Where is it? So delete. This one. So, and the doc I'm returning. I'm returning a different value in server for the delete object. Oh, the delete object is obviously changed from Mongo 2.7 or 2.8 to version 3. Now I'm getting a different return value. Okay, that's okay. And so I expect to have this value. So let's define it in here. Our expected value is and I probably can test for this one. We will see that just in a moment, because we can test, we can't verify objects this way. we see here is expected OK 1 and 1 to be OK and 1 and 1. Okay. Now we're applying a little trick, and that is JSON.stringify. Stringify. Now let's have to write it differently. Stringify. Stringify. That one. So if I check that specific value, probably this will match, and I'm testing string values to be the same. This one is there. Let's check this one. How many books do I have? Let's call a count on that one. 10 books, that's okay. So we have 10 books, but we should make that test work. And there's also a different way to do that. JSON parse text. Let's see what's in there. So JSON parse text should have a property, and that property is doc, and doc should have another property. Let's do that in this way. So we split it and have property, and that property name is OK, and the value should be 1. And I suppose this works. So I'm testing for doc, and doc should have a property OK, and the value of OK should be 1. Oh, skip that one, of course. Now it's OK. I can add another assertion. Let's do that. If it can be better, then we will make it better. N. So within doc, we test for n, because that's in there, and that n should also have value 1. We don't need that one anymore. Rerun the tests again. And we did already see here that we call API/API/books with some ID, and now it's deleted and all tests are passed. We are very happy with it. Now we go to our next part, and the next part, let's see what's on the list, is that we start on client side. So the server is completely done. It works in every aspect, and we have checked and verified it. So we're happy with it.